And we're live.
Woo!
Hello, friend.
Oh, so you're really trying to start the hello friend thing? You're stealing it from Katie and I?
So here's the thing. I didn't necessarily steal it from her. I used to do it too. I would always say hello, friends. And then she just perfected it. So now it's taken on new life. So now I'm
I
trying to do
also
it
have
more.
always said hello friend, but that's because it's a gender neutral meaning. Katie and I come from a good place. You manipulated it. You made
Pure
it evil.
My intentions were always to deceive, as they were not my friends. They were my enemies within the game. But yes, how exciting. We're here for a action-packed evening.
Yeah, you're going to be here all night.
All night. Literally, everyone, the chat is going to be sick of me by the end of the night. What is it? It's 4 Central, so 5 Eastern. What do we think this will end at? Like midnight? What is that?
1:30?
1:30? It's going to be a long night. Maybe it'll be a bit of an after show. Who knows? Who knows what will happen?
Yeah, I was just, Podcaster After Dark with an all-star cast, probably.
I would imagine so, because people are going to want to jump on after. It's not like they're unfamiliar. So I feel like this could be a long one. But what an epic one it will be. And we are here, in case anyone is wondering, we are here to do a draft.
Woo.
Have you?
That's right. Y'all did not bully me out of drafting. I will still draft no matter what Ryan says or the entire chat or the entire internet. Not a curse, and I will draft until my dying day.
I'm taking this draft a bit more seriously because I felt the other end of what a draft can do to you on Tuesday. And, immediately people being like, this guy, he's got to go. He's dangerous. And now I'm rethinking how I'm drafting because I don't want to put a target on anyone. So I'm going to be careful. I'm going to be honest, as always, with you folks. Very honest in my takes, but careful in terms of not tanking anyone because I would hate to do. I don't want that on my conscience.
I think that we're honest and we just don't shield people from the truth on the game.
Right. We don't steer, but we don't shield. We're trying to pass along our expertise, if you will. Mm-hmm. You know who else has expertise? Our other guests. So much expertise. Should we bring them in?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. First off, the aforementioned Katie. Welcome back.
Katie.
Hello, friends.
Hi. Then, of course,
the Mr. Friends Sparks, Alliance. Welcome. Hi, Sparks. You don't have a greeting.
Hello, friends.
I'll take that as a greeting.
Thanks, Lana.
And hello.
All right. Have you all been doing research all day? I hope you've all been hitting the books, seeing what all these people are all about.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, of course. I've been doing that since yesterday.
Something like that.
Right? Lots of scholarly articles, lots of in-depth research.
I think of this group, there's only one person. So 2 people, I guess, because one's never played, but 2 I haven't seen play of the whole cast. Mm-hmm. But everybody else I've seen. Well, so we've never seen Sosa because she got
interneted out.
Mm-hmm. And also, I have never seen Josh.com play, Joshua Vance. I know of him. I know of his editing skills and the minis and stuff. But I've never seen him play Sequester. I don't even know when he played. I think he played in like the first mini or something. So that'll be interesting. But everybody else, I'm pretty well accustomed to. What about y'all? Do you all know the groups?
I know most of them at least.
So I recognize a lot of names. There definitely are a handful that I don't know based just off their picture and name. I would probably have to see them in action to totally remember who they are. But, we've got a lot of people who have been playing, 2 or 3 months ago, way back in the day, a couple months ago, they were playing. And it's hard to remember that far back.
Right. We got a lot of old school versus new school here. I'm very excited to see how this plays out.
Every day, Sequester finds a new way to call me old.
Ooh, the writing's on the wall, Susie.
I've been putting it out there for one of these all-star minis. I'm hoping for old school versus new school, and I hate to break it to you, Susie, we are very old school. Wow. We are. We're not old school, but we're old school when it comes to this generation.
That's true. If you played a mini and the only way to get an LOS was by submitting your vote first, that's old school.
That is.
That's what I determined the separation is.
Okay.
I didn't even know
That
it was
was
a
definitely
difference.
me then.
But yeah, I didn't even know
Back
it was
when
a
I could get
difference.
LOSs on a regular basis.
I was saying,
Now
what's
it's
an
a lot harder.
LOS? I'm still trying to figure out what that is. I don't know how to get one of those. I don't understand that concept of an LOS.
Mm.
Still trying to find one.
I thought an LOS was going to be so much easier to find than it actually was. Oof, these people get them so fast. It's going to be exciting with a cast of people who know what to look for. It is going to be impossible to get an LOS.
Oh yeah, and I think we have some LOS hunters going on tonight for sure. I think there is a handful of people who are very qualified to get a whole bunch of LOSs. So
How?
I don't know. Don't ask me.
Really fast
They
internet.
have better internet.
Fast
Yeah,
internet.
that I think it is. I think it's a lot to do with the internet. So
yeah, it's
not
all about
it's
your
money.
YouTube stream. If your YouTube stream is good, you have a way better chance than anybody else at getting it. That's what
I've started now. I refresh every round. How does everybody else do it? I refresh the YouTube page every single round just to make sure it's up to date.
I do that, but it doesn't seem to help that much.
Yeah.
Didn't even think of that being a thing. I couldn't find one until there were 7 people left, and I think everyone else was panicking. That's the only reason I was able to get it.
I try to read the other players. So like when we were in the background doing check, I realized that I was behind, so I hit refresh. And then if I realized like during rounds where you're supposed to mute, if I wasn't on the same page as most people, I'm like, something is wrong with me, and I'll hit the refresh button that way. Because I just get too nervous. I'm gonna hit the refresh, and then YouTube dies on me, and then I'm kicked out because I can't see anything.
It was a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on in my head when I play.
Do you think we'll get the standard LOS tonight, or do you think Audrey will give us something crazy like we've had the past few private minis?
Oh, good question.
I hope it's a star.
Crown? We could switch it to a crown.
A crown. Or,
Yeah.
A crown, a star.
A crown, a star.
Ooh, a star. That'd be nice.
Ooh,
We'll see.
I like it.
Okay. So, Louie, do you want to explain how we're doing the 22 people tonight since there are 5 of us?
Absolutely. So we were going to do it the regular way, but we've decided to switch it up a little bit, make it a little bit more dramatic. So it's going to be your normal run-of-the-mill snake draft, which will apply for 20 members of the cast. Now there will be 2 people left over. We will spin the wheel to see which 2 of us get to take 2 more people. Now here's the rub. Now if the wheel hits you and you're one of those last 2 people, you can choose to swap out one of those 2 players for anyone else's last 2 round picks. We didn't want to make it that you can pick anyone because we don't want to steal your first round pick. Right. But anybody who was picked in the last 2 rounds, you can swap out that player for. So big stakes, a bit of strategy involved, and a lot of luck. So should be exciting.
Should we go ahead and spin that wheel and figure out the order of snaking?
Spin that wheel.
Let's do it.
That wheel.
You gotta do like the Price is Right version. Just yank it down.
This is the one time I want my name to pop up on the wheel.
Here we go. Who will be the first pick?
I'm hoping for a late round. I don't think the people I'm picking are going to get picked early.
I don't even know what I would do with the first round pick. Well, I do, but I don't know if it's a smart move.
I know who you would do, Katie. So.
Figure it out, Katie, because
number 1.
I don't.
Okay.
You got time to think now while we figure out the other ones.
Yeah.
It's fine. We got plenty of time. I already know what I'm gonna do. It was the obvious choice for me.
Okay.
Okay. I know where you're going.
Yeah. My loyalty runs deep.
Yeah.
Loyal
yeah, I think we are all
to the soil. Loyal to the soil.
Oh, this is a soil.
The other day I was moisturizing and I was like, loyal to the oil. And I was like, oh no, Suzi. I blame Hamza 1,000,000% for that becoming a thing.
Okay.
Sparks number 2.
All right, Sparks. You know what's up.
Yeah, we do.
Okay. And then
Do we think Big Brother Ant is in the chat again today to call you out, Susie, for your draft picks again?
We can only hope, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be there tonight.
Ryan was in here for a hot minute. I wonder if he'll come back to attack you.
No, he said he lifted the curse off of Susie.
He lifted the curse. Ryan
he said he's putting it on somebody else, and I think it's me because he said whoever I pick is cursed. So I don't know if that means that I just
the third place is Susie all week.
Yeah, always third.
Yeah. Oh, that's really sad.
So predictable.
I saw that you got third in the Brant Steele, though, Louie.
I did. I was so proud of myself when I woke up. I wasn't awake when it was taking place, but I woke up and I was like, "Oh, I got a third place. This is
same." I was like, "Oh, I wish this happened in real life." That's the only way I can win is if it's fake and
no, It's very little effort for me to get third place in real life. Like I'd be exhausted and crying in a corner, but I just went to sleep and I got.
Oh, is it gonna be a close one?
No, I wanted to be.
Good. I got fifth, 2 in a row. Love it.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Okay.
Now I'm not so sure my first round pick will last, but we'll see.
All right, so let's look at the graphic. And Katie, you are going to be starting for us today, and I'm sure we will all be shocked and appalled when you pick.
What a shocker! Yeah, I mean, not only because I think it's a good pick and she's gonna do really well tonight, but I have to support my girl Emily after we worked so hard together in the last game. I hope she does so good tonight. It's a stacked cast.
Is Emily on the board?
I don't see Emily.
No, but she's in my heart.
I have 2 Nicoles and no Emily's. Okay, that's our first Susie screw up for the night.
I would like
the only one missing.
Susie already heard from production that Emily has been replaced with another Nicole because we didn't have a double name in the game.
Okay, so this first Nicole is Emily.
Don't follow Emily so far under the radar. You're not even putting her photo up there. I'm here for it. Don't put her picture up there. Don't worry about Emily, y'all. She's not even good at this game. It's fine. Don't pay attention to her.
This is too funny.
Oh my gosh. That's some classic Susie shit right there.
Sorry, Emily.
There we go.
There is Emily.
Where'd
she come from? She's hiding. She was hiding off screen.
Yeah, there she goes. Okay, so Emily was an excellent gamer. I think that she was very loyal, which will be good because y'all can easily, like, if you make a deal with her, yes, it's time to drink. It's already 5:00 here on the Eastern, so.
I am a little worried for Emily though, based on the fact that there are so many other like strongly formed relationships, whereas we're a newer mini. She doesn't know nearly as many people or have those strong relationships with nearly as many people on the cast. So I'm hoping that works to her advantage and not to her disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's exactly what my fear was there, is just that it seems like this is a group with a lot of connections that all seem to have played around the same time. And I think Emily and I guess Brandon probably are the only 2 people who play. Oh, and Raymond, who played for the first time in season 2. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and I don't think there's anyone on this board who played with. Yeah, there isn't anybody who played with her directly. No. So it may be a little difficult, but I think she played. She's proven, if anybody saw her mini, that she does play a very loyal game and she's very honest, and that's something you want to play with. Like I want to play with someone who's going to tell me straight up what's going on and whether they want to work with me or whether they don't want to work with me. So I think that could definitely be an advantage for her, is that if people know her game, they would be wise to want to keep her around.
And if anyone goes for Emily and is successful, I will gun for you for the rest of my sequester career. Easy peasy.
I think. Go ahead, Lana.
I love Emily. I think that was like a really good choice because I spoke to Emily last night in a Zoom call, and she promised me something that she would do in the game. So I hope she remembers. And I'm looking for it. I'm looking for it. But I watched her mini, and she was really, really, like you said, loyal to the soil. She was loyal. She worked hard. She knew how to navigate the game the way a lot of new players don't know how. So it was like it just seemed natural for her to do what she did. And even in her antics when she was screaming, and it was fun. It was entertaining. She was just an all around good player. I'm excited to see her play tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited to see her. I really think that something that she didn't do in her first game that we'd like to see is articulate at the end. Like if we can see somebody kind of come through with their second game and that be really something they improve on, then she could take it. But at the same time, if she's not able to do that, it could be nice to sit next to her at the end.
Yeah.
Emily is kind of a good shield too, because of her lack of connections with people. She's kind of a good shield to take with you, especially if you have more connections, because we have been seeing a lot of those emotional connections come into play in some of these games. So keeping someone around who doesn't have those when you do could go either way, but probably is going to end up going in your favor.
Fingers crossed.
Right. I'm excited to see. She kind of reminds me a little bit of like how Joe plays without being over the top. Like
Yeah.
If you're with her, she's with you. And that's something that I think in a game like this, you need. Because when you're in room one, there are 4 other rooms who are doing a whole bunch of other shenanigans. And it's nice to know that you've got somebody in your corner that if your name comes up, somebody is helping to make that not a thing. And is helping to move that to somewhere else. And so in a game like this, having somebody that you can create that bond with and know at the end of the day, I've got you and you've got me, that runs so deep in a game with all-stars. I think though she's learned from her previous game with Katie and knows that there are things she can continue in this game that helped her succeed to where she got, but what else does she need to add to secure the W if she finds herself in a place again like she was in her first game. So I'm excited to see her do that, but also that could be a detriment to her because she did so well, and I think she knows what she needs to do. And when you have somebody like that, it could also bite you. So, but I'm excited to watch her play.
She's also been really strict about not wanting to pregame. To her, it's really important to keep the integrity of game and not do any pregaming. And like that could also be something that gets her in danger if these other groups are super focused on pre-gaming. But I think for people like us, we would much rather see people who are in there and show us the game instead of having the game pre-planned.
Yeah, authenticity is key for me and the way that minis play. So I hope it goes that way.
I don't know. That worries me though, because here's the thing: it wasn't like there's like a private mini where there's a rule that there's no pre-gaming. Yeah. There was no rule here not to, and like. Winners, like in my experience, Winners at War, I mean, that was a complete debacle. People basically pregame 24 hours a day. But the people who didn't were the first targets, right? Or the people who were slow on it were immediate targets right out of the gate. Even on Tuesday when I played, I did 0 pre-gaming and realized that I was probably a step behind like everyone. Like I feel like if it is a cast that is pre-gaming and you're specifically saying, I'm not going to do it, you immediately make yourself a target in that, okay, well, you have no connections. That's an easy first boot because I don't feel bad as I've talked to everyone else. So it concerns me a little bit, but, I'm very interested to see Emily playing, like, she played a really good game, but she was in a game with you, Katie, with Vinny, like in an alliance with really big strategic players that, with the 3 of you, it just wasn't as much as the other 2. But now that she's out on her own, I feel like she could really show she's a gamer. And I feel like she could play this game really, really well and show what she's capable of tonight in a case of we've seen people before who get second and then come back the next time and maybe don't get second again, but they play even better than they did the first time. And I definitely think Emily could fall into that category.
I love that this is her second game with playing with such big targets, because it actually gives her kind of an edge, because even though people have seen her play once, the second time is so different. I don't think I've seen anybody play the same way twice in a row. So this gives her kind of this weird edge where nobody really knows how she's going to play because they haven't seen her consistently. And also it gives her, but it also kind of, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I think that Emily should be able to make it pretty far, just based on the fact that she's so smart and because we haven't seen all her tricks yet. So I'm excited to see what tricks she pulls out tonight.
Yeah. If she's not pre-gaming, I hope she uses that to her advantage, though. I think Winners of War set the tone for it, but what she could do is be like, I didn't do that. So like, I'm not as much of a threat, right? Or like, I'm not as much of a threat because like, let's just say, for example, like I could be like, okay, well, Suzi I know was pre-gaming and Suzi's been trying to work with like 8 people. Let's get Suzi out because she has connections from pre-gaming. That could be just as much of a deficit to you pre-gaming as it is to not. So I wonder if now the tables could turn with pre-gaming to be like, hey, damn you, Ryan. If we could turn it around that way. So I wonder if that could work out now that we know pre-gaming is an entity that can exist in casts that are notified before they play.
Yeah. The last thing I'll say about Emily is if anyone wants a super loyal teammate who like doesn't have a lot of connections to this game, she's like all you could ask for when it comes to loyalty and working in this game. Like Emily was phenomenal to play with. I can't wait to see her play again. And anyone who feels like they need an awesome ally, I vote Team Emily.
Way to pump her game up. I love it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She got the check mark.
Right, yeah.
Love her.
Okay, Sparks, that means you are up.
Yeah. So the person I'm picking, I just have a beloved passion for. I think this player entertains. I think this player slays. I think this player is all around just like a good old human being to watch in any room that they're in. And so my first pick is going to be Angelica.
Oh, great pick.
Yes. It was funny because I was talking to Brent about this one day. Angelica's mini, her first mini was the first mini I had ever seen when I first got into Sequester. And I don't remember a whole lot about her game, but goddamn was I just so entertained by watching her play. There was just a way that she went about it where this is a game that's high stress, high anxiety, lots are going on, and you don't always know what's truth, what's false, what's right, what's wrong. And she plays this game so chill. Like she has 18 LOSs in her back pocket that she's using every single round. She has no fear. And I just absolutely love the way she plays. I hope it is, Walter. It better be. So I think she does a great game of getting people to be enthralled by her without saying I'm working with you. So she doesn't have to get blood on her hands because she's not betraying people. There's just that lull that you have towards her. I think she's also like Emily a little bit, and that if you go to Angelica and you're real about working with her and she's real about working with you, she will get you as far as she possibly can. And I think we saw that in our second game with Mike with the black eye. She tried to keep Mike as long as she could. She had Mike. She's like, I've got you. And unfortunately was voted out in like highest even, and that's just a hard round for anybody to get through. She's loyal as well. And I think that's something, again, you want in a person in an All-Stars game is someone you can trust. And I think she's that.
Well, and Angelica was one of...
Oh, I couldn't remember who she sat next to in the final two. Was it Jacob or Josh? Jacob, right?
Jacob
Jones.
Mm-hmm.
She's also one of those people who completely switched how she played her second game. Like her first game was a lot more under the radar, and I feel like the second game is where we got to see a lot of her personality shine and how she wants to play the game. So it's interesting to see where she's going to land on that dynamic tonight.
I want to say, as someone who played with Angelica, she is everything Spark said she is. She's so loyal to a fault. If she has your back, she will have your back. And me and Angelica, at the beginning of the game, we didn't even talk. It was just like that one time we got into a room, and I looked at her, she looked at me, and she was like, I was like, you it. And she was like, you're it. And she had my back. And we were like protecting each other throughout. Anytime somebody said that, the only time I had to say her name was when it was the date night, and it was me and Emily. And Emily was so ready to go after Angelica, and I didn't know who else they were going for, so we had to say her name. But Angelica, we talked to Angelica in the group chat, and she's so excited but nervous about this. She was like, anxiety is kicking in. I don't know what to do. We're just like, you got this. Calm down. You go play the best game that you know how to play. Because like everybody said, her 2 games were different, like night and day. She was on fire in the second game, and I don't see that changing in this game, especially with all the big names that we have now. She's going to do amazing. And Sparks, that was going to be my pick, so I'm not happy with you. Thank you very much, because I am also loyal to the soil, and she is my soil, and you just stole her from me. So thank you very much.
I'm so
I don't
sorry.
know. I don't know if there's anyone who like loves Sequester as much as Angelica. Like she loves this game.
She's so much fun.
So much. And like last time she like had her entire internet revamped before the game just so she could get LOSs quick. And like I saw her tweet today that like, you know, everybody had called out of work and she's like, I don't care, I'll quit this job to play tonight. Like she cares about this game so much and she's so passionate about it. And I always look at with these themed minis, like who would be a good representative of the theme? And this is who needs their crown, who hasn't gotten their crown and deserves their crown. And if we're looking at this cast, like the person that I pick if they last long enough is someone who I think fits that title. And I think Angelica definitely fits that title. She is someone who has played twice now, came in second place, came back, played a much better game. And now I feel like would be her time to get that crown. So I think that's a very, very good pick.
Mm-hmm.
She just needs a pack of her Marlboros. She needs a beer or a glass of wine in her hand, and she's ready to go. She's ready to go. That's all she needs.
She is.
She gonna play hard. She gonna play hard.
And she is great TV. Somebody in the comments said.
Mm-hmm.
She's great TV.
She knows exactly how to be entertaining in the game and for the audience, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's one of those rare people who can be entertaining without being like mean or like she's just fun to watch. You're just like everything about her. You're like, yep, mood. She's fantastic. I guess that means it's my turn, and I am going kind of just, oh God, there's so many great people here. Okay, I'm going for my wheeled out queen, Cammy.
Good choice.
Y'all are killing me. Killing me.
I don't know in what world I thought I was going to get lucky to get Cammy as a second choice. Darn.
Obsessed, obviously. I mean, everything about Cammy is amazing. She's so much fun to watch. She'll make moves. She'll make alliances. She, isn't afraid to play big, but she's also very strategic, I think that Cammy is the definition of Get Me My Crown because she needs it. She needs it.
And the wheel is so mean to her every time she plays. Like, I feel a little nervous that you picked her, Susie, but we'll see.
Leave me alone, Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. Come back. I'm gonna bring Ryan onto the stream to defend me.
Break the curse for Susie. This is not gonna be a curse one because I need to see Cammy go so far in this game. It's like killing me. Even if I can't pick her, I am rooting for her. I want her to go so far in this game. If she don't win this thing or make it to jury, I don't even know what this game is about. I don't. I don't.
Lana's pulling her Patreon account.
Lana is resigning from PodQuest.
Right. I quit. If Cammy does not go far in this game, I'm done with this community. I can't live like this. She has been robbed too many times, and every time I've seen her, I'm like, yeah, she has to go far. She has to.
Yeah. I really wanted to pick somebody from the PodQuester correspondence group because they're amazing up there. But I knew if I didn't pick Cammy, she was going to go.
Yeah,
so I had to grab her. I think she's also a good shield because she actually has the opposite issue of Emily, where she has so many connections that it's isolated her because everyone's just like going to kind of write her off. Be like, Cammy probably already has an alliance or something, and that could really hurt her. And I kind of doubt she's pre-gaming that much, too. So actually, I would love Emily and Cammy to work together.
I would die. That's what we deserve.
Be incredible.
Susie pre-gaming for them. All right.
Yeah,
I'm real quick. fan fiction where Cammy and Emily work together.
Look, put them in a group chat.
Someone tweet it for us, please.
Right.
I will say the weirdness of the logistics of the fact that we're doing this like an hour and a half before it goes on. So this is basically just like, you know, they could all just wait and watch this and then go directly into the game, which is kind of strange. But I adore Cammy. You know, she's one of the few on this group that I have played with. And I think that's the thing, is that when you're in a game with Cammy and you see that she's participating in it and you're playing with her for the first time, like, you don't want her to go anywhere. Like, you want to play the game with her. She has such a incredible spirit about her, and she's so much fun to play the game with, that if you're there, you want her to stick around and you don't want to target her. She's been incredibly unlucky. One of the most unlucky Sequester players, I think, ever, probably, in what has happened to her in the past few minis. But, you know, it's another one that I think that she has the advantage of. I don't see that there's any chance of her going out early unless something ridiculous happens again. But I think a large amount of people are going to want to work with her. And then it's just going to be a question of if she can maneuver the end game, because we haven't really seen what her end game is, because she has never been able to get that far. So we'll see when we get down to like 6-5-4, you know, what she's able to do, and if she has plans and has a strategy as to how to get through those late rounds.
Yeah.
I think it's break the tie and throw your vote to the right person next time.
I'm eager to see these people have I'm hoping that we'll have fewer wheels tonight, because I think these people are going to play so hard. If any of them get wheeled out, it'll be such an injustice. Like, I don't think any of them want to go out in an all-stars via the wheel, you know?
Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword, because if you're part of that tie, though, you want it to go to a wheel. So you're going to have 2 people who are dying for a wheel and like 18 people who want anything but. So we'll see how that...
and Big Brother Ann said that Cammy has won a mini before, but back then, weren't there still like challenges and things? It wasn't quite the same game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it's a bit different now in terms of having to maneuver those final few rounds.
Yeah.
He said OG mini, so I'm assuming she played back.
I think it was.
And no one can say she hasn't been robbed in all of her recent minis. It's just absolutely devastating. It's nothing of her own volition in the recent games. It's just bad luck.
Yeah. So Lana, that comes up to you. What are you thinking?
Okay, well, since all of my queens have been picked before, thank you, Sparks and Sissy. Appreciate you. But there is more queens to pick, and I am going to pick a fellow queen, and that is Naveet, because I love her. I've only seen one game from Naveet, and I was that impressed by her. I like the way she plays. I like that she can be cool and calm, but if you come for her, she will come for you. And that's the kind of game I wanted to play in my head when I first played, but didn't actually pull that off because I'm not that bad yet. But I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna work on it. I'm gonna start, you know. But she was impressive. I like the way she played. I think she has a good shot of getting past a lot of these rounds where people are trying to target huge targets. I don't think she's a huge target right off the bat. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I don't think she is. But I think she knows how to negotiate her way through some things that will help her get through. If people are coming for her, I think she can negotiate her way through and talk her way off. So I have to pick Naveet.
Oh, yeah.
Good choice.
Naveet reminds me of a player kind of like similar to like Keely in the fact that I don't see her like ever not making jury, right? Like, she's likable, she's strategic, she's easy to be around. Like, I feel like she could consistently play this game and always go far. And she's someone who literally had the crown like taken out of her hands. Like, she had it. She was ready to place it on her head and just snatched it and ran away at the very last second last week. So, you know, to be that close,
that was insane.
I don't know. Like, I'm excited to see it again. I feel like being that close, it's so hard to come back from and do that again when you were literally like a second away a second away from winning Sequester, and now to have to do it again the next weekend and go through all of that again just to get back to the place that you were at, having the game in your hands. I feel like it's so hard to do that 2 weeks in a row.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now, I do want to say, if we're talking about curses, I did not jinx Naveet last week. I specifically told people in the group chat not to jinx Naveet. Now, if Lana jinxed Naveet,
Yes, no.
I don't know.
I don't do
Susie
that.
specifically requested not cursing Naveet.
I don't. Right. I would say I don't jinx people. As we saw last week, my draft was amazing. So I don't.
Oh
jinx
my
people.
Yeah, not only does Lana break curses, she brought Billy back. So
I
that
brought
way,
Billy
yeah,
back.
she's like, I'm fixing my draft.
That's true. That's true. Well, then,
I will my people on.
that's true. The spirit is with Lana. The spirit is with Lana.
I'm going to be praying.
Oh my gosh. Everyone's talking about how Jacob reacted when Lana was dragged in the chat. I am not trying to curse her, Ryan. I'm just saying in the group chat, Lana said Naveet made final 2. I said, don't jinx it. And then Naveet was dragged. That's all I'm saying. I'm just relaying the facts.
I'm just saying that is not my fault. That was Paolo being jerk and pulling her after he said he wasn't. He got my hopes up, and I'm typed fast. I'm a fast typer is what I am. I was like, yes, she's going. And then he changed his mind. So I was upset.
I mean, he didn't change his mind. Apparently, he was always planning on taking her out.
Well, then I don't like the way he toyed with my emotions because he toyed with my whole emotions.
He did. So I mean, you can't jinx something he had already decided. All right.
Okay, moving on. I'll move on.
Louie, your first choice.
Yeah, okay, so I'm glad I get 2 in a row. I'm debating between 3 people, and it's difficult. The first one is one that when I saw the cast, I thought, okay, well, this makes sense, and it's kind of like what the last 10 days have been leading to. Like, when I watched Heroes versus Villains, the first one, going into it, I was like, okay, well, this is going to be when Muna gets her crown. And she did, and it ended that way. And I feel like if we've been looking at the pattern over the last 10 days, there's one person who was a figure in the Sequester community. Everybody knew, everybody liked him, but I think his persona and his reputation in the Sequester community has grown so much just over the last week in terms of what a great player he is. It's something that's never been done to play 3 times in a matter of 10 days. I feel like it puts you in the mind frame of he's been on the Sequester kick for the last week and a half and just been doing nothing but playing Sequester. And I feel like for some people, maybe they'll be, a little rusty having not played in a while. He just played a few days ago, and he just played a few days before that. He is ready to play the game. I say that tonight, DK, Daniel Kennedy, gets his crown.
I can see that
too.
I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
We also modded last night. Last night's game, he was the Room 2 mod. So this is his 4th Sequester thing in the past week.
Yes.
Crazy.
So the question is, here's the question. Is he hungry or burned out?
I think he's hungry.
We're going to have to see.
I think he's hungry to get out. I think he wants to win and get out. That's my prediction, is I think he wants his win so he doesn't have to do it anymore. Mm-hmm. And, looking at it from a game perspective, like on Tuesday, I played with him and I went in wanting to play with him. And every room I was in, I thought we had a great connection. Like I thought we were really bonding. I was like, this is great. He, even though I'm not that close with him and I'm much closer with like Charlie or like Joe the Show or like other people within the game, I was like, DK is my closest ally. Like him and his boyfriend were like the 2 people that I was like, those are the only 2 people, and like Billy, who I actually trusted, and I never should have trusted him. He was out to get me the entire time, but I really did believe when I was in a room with him and speaking with him that he had my best interests in mind, and I feel like he can do that to anyone. And I feel like because of that, he could have a very, very strong case to get to the end of the game yet again.
That's a big thing with DK is he's good at adapting to whatever cast he is in. Like he knows when to stay quiet, but he also knows when he needs to, get his voice out there to make sure he's safe. He's not only super knowledgeable in the game, but he is really adaptable in it. And I think that's something that's really important, especially when you play as much as he is. you need to be adaptable, because if you play the same game you played, yesterday or 2 days ago or 6 days ago, people are going to clock you right away.
This kid is so smart. I have not seen a player with the intelligence level that he like has an extra brain in his head, or purely like Survivor, Big Brother, Org, Sequester. Like, this kid knows it all. And he is so smart about how he makes himself either a threat when he needs to or downplay it when he needs to. And it's just, I've watched it, and like, even though I know when he's lying or I know when he's being strategic, I still buy it as an audience member who has more information than the rest of the cast playing. I'm like, I still bought that, and I still would believe that. He's just so smart, and it's just unfounded how much intelligence that man has about how to do these kinds of things. Unbelievable.
I liked watching him play last Tuesday. And I picked him, and yes, he called me out because he said he only picked me because I was one of the last 2 people left on the board, and that may be so. But I did pick him because I heard so much about his game before. It wasn't just like a random pick. He was there, he was left, and I was like, if I'm gonna pick between these people, I'm gonna pick about somebody who I've heard about. I might not have seen him play, but his reputation precedes him, which is even better than sometimes seeing it, because if other people are talking about how amazing your game is and how great you played the game, and somebody who's never seen you play is like, oh, I remember that name, it says something. It speaks volumes to who you are as a player. So I'm excited to see what he does now without Dustin, and with that he has so much. He's proven right now. He's like, I gotta win. So I think it's gonna be great. I'm excited. Really?
Daniel Kennedy, I guess, in the chat for us.
Yeah. Gotta lower that threat level.
Right? See, he's so smart. He's so smart.
No, here's the thing about DK, though. I think one of the things he has going for him is something very few Sequester players have going for them. I am afraid of his wrath. I would not want to shoot at DK and miss, because boy will come gunning for you. He plays emotionally, and he doesn't apologize for it. He's still very smart and strategic, but he also has a very emotional response to the game. And yeah, I'm not trying to get DK unless I can get him out. And then I also might hide off of Twitter for a while. I don't want to get dragged by the fans. So I mean, DK is one of those people that I think that there's a lot going for him, and he will drag you if you fuck up the game, and especially if you fuck up the game for him.
Yeah, I at one point threw Dustin's name out just because I was in a room with people who all had someone else as their pair, and I couldn't throw their name, and I threw Dustin's name out, and I immediately just felt the fear of God in me. I was like, oh, if this ever gets back to DK, my game's done. I should have never done that, and spent the next 2 rounds being like, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that. He's gonna find out. He's gonna find out. And that is, that's the key of a great Sequester player. If you're afraid of them, it's something you said getting back to them, that means you're doing something right. So, he's a great player, and I'm very excited to watch him play yet again.
Yeah.
Amen.
And Louie, you have a second choice here. So who are you thinking?
The second choice is so hard. I don't know if to go with my heart or my head. I'll go with my heart. I'm gonna pick Chelsea.
Oh my God.
Fair.
I have to. She's one of my faves. Here's the thing.
She's one
I feel
of
like
everybody's faves.
Yes, she's one of everyone's faves, and that's why I knew I'm leaving the other people I'm thinking about, because there's a chance they'll get back to me, and there's 0 chance Chelsea will get back to me on this.
Yeah.
I feel like she's so social and so well liked and so funny and just fun to be around, that I feel like that she's someone else, going back to what we said before about Naveed, I just can't imagine a world where she doesn't go far in a game. right? Like, who would ever want to target her early? So I feel like that in itself is beneficial. And I also feel like what we saw in the prom mini is that she's built upon that and actually, you know, she has a good strategic mind and she has a game plan and she's starting to, you know, she found a way to actually maneuver and make moves within the game. And I feel like those two things combined are very dangerous. And she's someone, you know, above a large majority of this cast that I would love to see win tonight.
Well, and I also feel like with her, you know, she's a big name on there, but compared to some of the other people, she doesn't seem as scary to go up against. Like, you know that you can trust her and she feels like someone you could work with. Whereas with DK, he's one of those people that you are either like, yes, I need to be on your good side, or, oh my God, I'm terrified. And Chelsea's one of those people that I feel like you were saying, everyone likes her. Everyone wants to be around her and play with her. And that is such a huge asset in this game.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, Katie. I feel like maybe you should be terrified. Just because every time we mention DK, I feel it. I'm just like, oh God, whatever I said, it wasn't the right thing.
Sometimes though, I feel like when you're like thinking about who do you like because multiple names are going to come up every round. That's the way this game goes. And when you're thinking about like what's the right decision, sometimes it's like who do you want in the game versus who do you need in the game every now and then. And I think Chelsea's one of those people who can convince you that like you want her there because goddamn, if you're in a room with her, it's gonna be a great time. Like out of because it's such a stressful game, and like it's nice to have somebody in there that can make it fun, make it exciting, and make it laughable and enjoyable while you're in there. And I think that might be what sells it for people to keep her, and I hope that works to her advantage.
There's somebody in the chat saying that we're saying everybody is loyal, smart, and nice. Okay, here's
it's a
the
good
thing.
Cast, these are early picks.
These are early picks. Come on, is it a
Here's
first,
the
second
thing,
round
though.
picks? We're supposed to say good things. Wait till we get to the end. We're gonna rip them apart.
Yeah.
I will say about Chelsea though, one of the things is you want her to go far because she managed to lower her threat level very well. Like she always, you know, she's so focused on having a good time. You're like, yeah, she's just good time Chelsea. That's cool. And then like she'll snake you. You know what I mean? Like I think she's a loyal player, but she's also a smart player. So she's one of those ones who balances it. I think she and Angelica play a kind of similar game in that they seem like they're having a lot of fun, but they're actually like secretly spies. You know how Maddie the other night was like, I'm so drunk. And then it turned out she was an actress and was like, JK, I have actually been accumulating a ton of information. I think Angelica and Chelsea also have that same vibe where they try to get you to think that they're not doing anything but having a good time. But they are serious competitors.
For sure.
And but still very loyal, as Brandon points out. Okay, Lana, I think that means it's your turn again.
Okay. Well, I picked this person before, and I'm going to pick him again because I think he has been very treated unfairly by this game, by this wheel, which we've already established is racist, and I don't like it. The wheel has not been kind to him in these last few minutes, and I'm going to pick him because I picked him before, and I think he plays a great game. If the wheel does not bother him, he will go far, and I'm saying that he will. And I'm going to pick Khaled because he deserves to be picked early. He's a great player. He plays, and even when we've seen him play, he is not above getting cutthroat and playing how he has to play when he has to play it. He doesn't have to be aggressive all the time, but when it's time, he does that. So if the wheel doesn't bother him, I think he'll do very well in this game. And
I agree. I think that he would have gone a lot further in the blood versus water one if it hadn't been for the wheel. I don't think he was on anybody's radar. I think people were straight sleeping on him. So he kind of has a UTR thing. So what I would like to see is his end game, because I would like to see him in a final two, because we haven't really heard him have to talk the talk that you have to do at that point. So I want to see how he would do that.
Yeah, I think it's an impressive game that you can play where Khalid, like, he's played the last 2 times he's played incredible games, gone far, and really hasn't had to get much blood on his hands. And it's impressive when you can play a game and do that well and really not snake anybody, right? Like, he's someone that you want to trust, that you want to play with, and that when you just believe what he says. And I really haven't seen too many instances where he's had to break that. And if you have that track record, once again, like we said with Emily earlier, if you have the track record of that, you can be trusted, and that what you say is your word, people will want to work with you. So I do think that will help him immensely. And he's another one who's just had terribly bad luck. And, he definitely should have had one win, a while back in the International Mini. I thought he should have won that. And, he probably would have went a lot further on Tuesday. So, I see him once again going far tonight.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you summed it all up. I don't even know what more I could add to that. Very well said.
That makes it my turn, and y'all stole a lot of really good people, and there are 3 people. There are 3 people. Sorry, I'm getting like DMs now about our drafting. No, there are 3 people that I'm really having a hard time choosing from. But I'm gonna go with somebody who I think is absolutely entertaining, who would have won their final 2 if they had sat next to almost anybody else in the cast, certainly. But also a lot of other winners that we've seen. I'm going to go with my puzzle king, Jacob.
Yes.
Good choice.
I love Jacob.
He lost to the undeniable Kim Matina, who played an incredible game and it was incredibly impressive. And Jacob worked just as hard, but he just couldn't pull it out at the end. So, oh my gosh, I am not a curse, people. Jacob is going to do this. Jacob is going to do this. I'm really hoping that he gets a puzzle in the game because he told me he's a puzzle king. But I mean, I don't see Audrey pulling puzzles. She hasn't for a while, but I'm hoping he was. I kind of hope there's a buyback tonight because I just don't want any of these to be first round boots. And if there is and there's a puzzle, then I think Jacob could kill it.
Yeah. Jacob was the other one I was debating between taking. I am a huge Jacob fan. I try not to say this too much because we love Kim Matina. I adore Kim Matina. Everybody loves Kim Matina. You never want to say anything bad about Kim Matina. I thought Jacob should have won that mini. I said it on that stream that I thought Jacob should have won. I thought he played an incredible game. I thought he had one of the best final 2 performances I've ever seen. I think he has a passion for this game. I think he's extremely likable. And he's also somebody who's only played once, even though he played, a while back. It was pre-Winners at War. He played for the first time and has not played again since. We've only seen him once, and that still makes him, compared to some of these other people, it makes him a bit of a wild card as well, which I also think is beneficial. I'm a huge fan of his potential, and I've told him before that he's going to win eventually. Like, I am so certain that he has the ability to win a Sequester, and that may very well be tonight because there's only, after what he did last time, he needs to do a little bit more because that game could have won the large majority of the time unless you're up against the best Sequester player of all time.
He's another one of those. One of those players that really, really loves this game as well. Like, everyone enjoys the game, but he is another one who's so passionate about it. And the fact that he was like geeking out about being on this cast made my heart so happy. And I just hope he goes so far because he's just, like you were saying, he very well could have and should have won the other mini he was in. And he's not going to have that recency bias because it's been a while since he's played, but he still made sure to form the connections within the community so he knows people.
This is the other thing. I kind of hope nobody does recognize him because honestly, when I did the stream with him, it still took me like 5 minutes before I was like, right, I know who this is because that was Night of the Living Dead when he played.
Yeah, his face was beat.
Well,
he was beautiful.
I will say,
him and Aaron.
I talked to him last night, and he is definitely planning something spectacular tonight. So he is going to be beat. So everybody be ready. He's going to be fire tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So excited.
Yeah.
I think he just realized. I think what may have been his downfall in the final two was he was just so focused on this like kind of like beautiful story of like I'm a super fan and I made it and I did it. But I was also like you're in the middle of a bunch of super fans here, buddy boy. But he's made that title something more than just like a traditional person who loves Sequester, and I think he finally has made that his own identity. So I hope it helps him play in the game. But I'm excited to see him do the same things he did in Night of the Living Dead, and then just ace that potential final two if he's in there, and just ace those questions and get the jury to see the king that he is.
Yeah, if we're talking about sitting next to people in the final two, I'm not saying there are varying degrees, right, of who you want to sit next to and who you don't. A lot of these people, no matter what, it's going to be hard. I'll be interested in seeing if he can switch up his final two a little bit. But he also doesn't, he has connections because he's part of the Sequester community longer, but he hasn't played with as many of these people. So he'll also be kind of a lone wolf situation. And I'm very happy with my pick. Now I'm just rubbing it in.
Yeah. Very excited to see him play. I think he's more excited than we are to see him play.
I'm so happy for him.
But
I know.
He's just going to be a bright light in the game, I think. And even if he's an early boot, pre-jury, late jury, final two, that kid's going to make this game so much fun to watch, no matter how long he's in there. Hoping he's in there long, but...
Same. I hope nerves don't get the best of him, because I feel like of this group, like I feel like he's someone who could go in very nervous just because he does care so much and it is so many big names. He just needs to just like relax, just play the game that you know you can play. You probably know it better than anybody in the entire cast. Like just play to your skills and do what you need to do, and I think he'll be just fine.
Yeah. And Jacob, if you're watching, you may be in a game of big names, but guess what, buddy boy? You are now a big name as well.
Exactly.
There's the reason you're in here. So be nervous, but use the nerves to your advantage. Keep alert.
Exactly.
Okay, so Sparks, that leads you up to
that. So I'm putting what I was going to do my second pick because I get to come back around after Katie. I think my choice will stay, but I don't think this other person will, so I'm going for it. This person has played phenomenally both times they have participated in this game. They slayed it. They know what they're doing. They're strategic. They're smart. They're under the radar in the best way. They're over the top in the right way. And so my pick is going to be Nicole, the actual Nicole.
No!
The real Nicole.
That is an awesome pick.
This girl, she got me good. She has my heart. I absolutely love her to death. Getting to play with her and getting to watch the work that she does. I was just so thrown off. Like when I left that game and people are like, yeah, Nicole was running some names. And I was like, I had no idea. And that's just a test to how well she does the game, that you don't even know she's slaying you until you've been slain. And that's how the game works for her. She's smart. She knows what to do. And I think she's just like a few other of these players. She's adaptable. She knows how to change the way she plays based on the group that she's with. And I think she has probably been sitting down since she got that email or since the cast got revealed. And she's been looking at all 21 of these people being like, I know exactly what I'm doing. So I'm very excited for her.
I've said it before, is that if you asked me which Sequester player I would be most afraid to play with, it is Nicole. And the reason behind that is that she listens so well. And I think I said this on a stream last week, like she listens to every word. And she will then take those words and remember those words and then use them again at a different point. Like she will call someone out in a very sweet and nice and polite way, but directly to your face, letting you know you said this, but now you're saying this. And I feel like anytime you're in a room with her, you need to be so careful with what you say because it will come back. She is such a smart player. I feel like she's one of the smartest players in Sequester, and she's so underrated that, you know, she goes far for a reason. So I could, you know, she's a very good player.
Somehow she's able to play such a good game as well while still staying under the radar. Like, people don't really think to target her until it's too late. And I'm so angry you got her because I really thought I was going to get her.
I was going to say she is like a stealth player. Like you say, you don't know she's coming until it's too late and you already gone. And she listens, she understands. She's like that silent killer. It's like you don't know she's sneaking up on you and she's taking you out. If you're in her prey, be careful because she is going to take you out and you won't even know what hit you. You're like, I didn't even see Nicole coming.
Exactly. You'll never know it.
I think, Louie, you and I read Nicole so differently. You're like, she's so sweet and nice while she calls you out. And I'm just like, savage. I think she's savage. Yeah, I find girl savage. Maybe we know how to read women different.
Well, no, I should take it back. Maybe I'm just saying it's in a... Well, so here's the other thing: is every game she's played with Joe the show. Like we should recognize that.
Okay.
Right? So
okay.
in comparison, they're usually working together, and it's usually like Joe in a room screaming at you at the top of his lungs, and then you go into another room, and Nicole is, you know, maybe not being sweet, but very pointedly and soft-spokenly telling you what you're doing wrong and why you should go home. So
I feel like she does it without dramatics, and in some ways that's a lot more savage because she's not going to be like, fuck you, you're going home, like Hunter. Or she's not going to be like, and that's why da da da. You know, she doesn't do all that. She's just like, yeah, but you know, you said that, but now you're saying this. So
that scares me more than anything. Yell at me, scream at me. Don't say it, you know, in the same tone every time. That's so scary.
Yeah. I can take you yelling.
You're just like,
look, I can take you yelling because I know where you're coming from. It's like you yelling, he's crazy. She's just gonna be wilding out the way. But somebody who's sitting there like, yeah, no, I see you. No, you just said this, and you're like, wait, did you really catch on to that, or did she? Oh,
she's an assassin. She is an assassin.
That's silent
She's
assassin.
So precise.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not gonna lie though, the silent part or like the soft part is what would paralyze me more than someone coming into a room and be like, I heard you said my name.
Exactly.
I'm like, oh, you want to go toe to toe, do you? We'll go toe to toe. We'll go to war. I'll yell back. But I don't know about this comparison, and just tell me if I'm wrong, but she reminds me of the Powerpuff Girls in a way of that she is so sweet looking and she's so cute, like Bubbles, but she's got the sass and the savage comments of Buttercup. Buttercup. And so like
Blossom,
Blossom's the pink one, but like Buttercup's the green one, the kind of angsty one. But that's what she reminds me of, because you just don't expect someone like Nicole to come into a room and be like, well, if I've looked at the past 3 pages of the things that you've said that I wrote down, these things don't add up and these things don't highlight together. And you're like,
what?
And there's nothing you can do, because then it's, what, do you yell at Nicole? Because no, you don't, and that looks bad on you. So she does it in a phenomenal way of she calls you out to the point of you cannot rebuttal anything that woman says. She is so good at that.
Because she's right about it. She comes back and she comes at you with the facts. She's not coming at you with something you didn't say, because if she came at you and you didn't say it, you're like, oh, I didn't say that. But if she comes back with everything you said, and you're like, okay, what do? You can't say, oh, I didn't say that, knowing you called. You called.
Yeah, she also has like a really nice blankness where she can like blank you out and you can't tell. You're like, I never said that, Nicole. And she's like, okay. And you're like, you believe me, right? And she's like, yeah, no, I believe you. And you're like, I can't tell if you freaking believe me.
Yeah. And I think that Curb21 put in the chat, and I think that's exactly what you were just talking about, Susie, is that might be something that gets her out, is if people don't know if they can read her, people don't know if they can trust her. So the things that we talked about with Emily and Angelica of loyal to the soil, Nicole, that's not Nicole's strength. Whether she is loyal to you or not, sometimes it's hard to read that queen, and and she leaves the room or you leave the room, and you're like, I don't know what to do now because Nicole just made me more stressed. And so I think that could be something that bites her in the butt, or could be a reason for her to get voted out, is the lack of loyal to the soil that she brings.
Okay, can I just say something? Stop, people in the chat. We are not tanking their chances right now. Nobody's tanking these players' chances, because nothing we say is going to matter. It's how they play this game. So don't come to us talking about we taking their chances. All we're doing is pointing out what their game is, and everybody who knows this game and watches this game know their opponent's game. So leave us alone. Go on.
We are professional analysts, guys.
Hello.
We are professional analysts who
alone.
I'm gonna throw a good hit on you.
Speak about the game.
Just let you know.
Okay, so finally, Katie, you get to go again. Who is your second choice?
So this is tough because I know I'm not going to get to pick again for a while, and by the time it's back to me, I'm not going to know who these people are.
No, you get 2 in a row.
Oh, I get 2 in a row?
Yeah.
Oh, this is a game changer. I thought it went all the way back down again. Okay, well then, easy peasy. First one is going to be Alona. I want her on my team. I think she plays really good during Blood versus Water. I think she also learned during Blood versus Water on when you need to cut ties. I've really enjoyed watching her play. I think tonight could be a really good game for her. I know she's played recently. That always makes me a little bit nervous, but I don't know. I feel like she could do really good tonight.
I just like to think of the world where Lavina finally gets her win, and 4 days later, Alona wins and gets on the leaderboard, and Lavina's just like, well, there you go.
Alona's like, I gotta play in the big one now, so sorry.
And she's like, who really won, Lavina?
Immediately top.
Yeah.
But yeah, Alona's dangerous. She's so dangerous. I mean, that was, once again, going back to Tuesday, I didn't realize. I walked in being like, oh, I can't wait to play with Lavina and Alona. This is going to be so much fun. And I just walked into a den of vipers as soon as I got in there, and they were like, Louie needs to go. And I didn't know what was coming. I was just excited to meet them. But very dangerous. Another player that I feel like maybe you underestimate, that you want to play with, that you think that you would see definitely go to the end game, and before you know it, your throat is cut. So, something that I would definitely be wary of, and someone who I think can, has the ability, has proven twice now, has the ability to go very far within the game.
Mm-hmm. She can go far, but she also, it seems like she still doesn't have, one of those giant targets tattooed on her face that so many other people playing tonight are immediately going to have, which I think is going to come in handy to get far, and then hopefully she can navigate that end game well, based on what she's learned.
I agree. I think she the only thing that scares me is the fact that she just played Tuesday and she got so far, and the fact that people are still, she could be on people's radar still, but I think she will be able to navigate through that just fine. It's like the first 2 rounds are going to be crucial for a lot of these people. If they make it through the first 2 rounds, they're going to have to show people like, hey, I'm not the threat that you think I am. I'm just here to play the game. And if she can navigate her way through these first few rounds, I think she'll be fine. And I think a lot of people who played recently are going to be in that same dilemma. Just have to navigate their way through the first, well, they're not on people's radar still. They have to move themselves off of people's radar. And it's not easy to do, but they just have to do it.
Yeah, here's what I feel like, though. So I know she's played twice, but in some ways this really is her second game, because the last game she played with her sister. So the pairs meant that people, I say compromise their game, but I don't mean belittle their game or that they dumb down their game to play with a partner, but that their games were compounded, maybe is a better word. So her game was so tied to her sister's game that we didn't really get to see her second coming, the second coming of Alona.
The second coming of Alona. It's going to happen tonight.
So this is, in some ways, we haven't seen how she's going to really adjust to playing a second time, because the second time she had to adjust to playing again, but with very specific people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So who's wait? Yeah, second pick.
Okay. I think for my second pick, I'm gonna do Raymond.
Yeah.
I think
Move her to the back.
I think we've seen different versions of the games that he can play. He isn't afraid to play aggressive and throw names out there, and I love to see that. But I also think he has learned from his mistakes on how to adjust his game in order to have success. I hope that now that he's playing with all-stars, he will get back to some of that aggressiveness with the game, just because I think that is so exciting to see. And I think with a cast like this, you're going to have to find that balance of playing a big game while also, staying in there and keeping your name out. And I think that's something Raymond can do. I am a little concerned, like with all my players, apparently, with the recency bias of, having played. I'm just, in my perfect world, all these people who played so recently are just going to work together and it's going to be great. But yeah, I like Raymond. I think he's gonna do good tonight.
Mm-hmm. That, like, when I played with him in the first second game, I never really heard Raymond the entire time, or being like, Raymond has said this. And I think you're right. He learned from his first game, because sorry, Ryan, but he was playing with a bunch of Ryans, and Raymond was out there slaying it, and then they got scared. But Raymond knew that he could not come into the next game doing the same exact tactic, because that was going to be his other reason for going out. And he did a great way of making sure that he was still playing under the radar while doing some stuff. And now I think because he's in a cast like this, he can do both. He can be sneaky and under the radar without being boring, but he can also be the big, vivacious personality that he has and throw names out there and cause things to happen and disrupt the game and change perception. We do love to see it.
Especially since he cursed you.
Right? Like, how dare he? And, but it's just, I'm ready to see him be able to incorporate both. Because he was robbed. He threw a vote and he got dragged. And it was sad to see, but I hope now he can incorporate both into.
Yeah, it's interesting to see, like, if you look at just Raymond's last game, you would probably say, like, if you didn't see him prior, you would probably wonder, why is he in the cast, right? But when you see it, the entire progress of how well he played the first time around, and just that the only reason that he lost is that people caught on to how well he was playing. And the fact that he did come in the second time and played an entirely different game that wasn't as impressive, but you knew what he was doing because he adapted from what happened in the first game. I think that shows such a good sense of being able to improve your game and knowing well enough where you went wrong and what you need to change, in that he was in such a good spot to get to the end if he wasn't dragged in that game. And I feel like he will once again be able to adapt his game how he needs to come in this third time. Raymond is a huge threat, and I feel like twice he's been on the precipice of being like a name that you remember in Sequester. And I feel like tonight I could definitely see, and I hope that he is able to get over that mountain, get over that hump, and finally prove that he is King Raymond.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be. My concern is that in the last game he played, he takes like such a leadership role in a game like this, which is interesting to see, where he's like, this is what we're doing, this is our alliance, this. I don't know if he's going to be able to put that leader back in a box for now that he's playing again. Like, now that he's let it loose, I think he might have a hard time being like, and kind of changing his strategy. Yeah. So I guess we'll see. But I am a huge fan of Raymond, so I was so excited that he's playing.
It does scare me a bit that I feel like both of his other games, I felt like in his second game, people didn't even seem to realize that he had played before, aside from the other vets. And the first game he hadn't played before. This is going to be the first time he's going into a game where people know who he is. They know how dangerous he is, and they know how well he plays. And that, unfortunately, I could see people realizing that very early and trying to
get targeted
gang up and
very early. He is someone who will either stay in as, the meat shield, or someone who they're going to target early because this is our chance. We have to take him out while we can.
Yep.
But that's everyone, isn't it?
I'm about to
Everyone
say,
that
It's
you can
true.
shoot
There's
at.
a lot of meat shields out
it's
here.
a lot of
Yeah, meat shields, meat shields.
Meat.
it's a lot. It's a lot, and that's the thing. That's why I'm like, this game is not going to play like most other minis because these people are all stars for a reason. They are not just people who don't know this game and who can't navigate and make their way through this stuff. It's every round somebody goes home is gonna be devastating. I don't care who we are, what happens. Every round is gonna be like somebody we like because they are all amazing, amazing players. So this is just gonna be. This is not for them. This is for us. We get to watch this greatness. We get to enjoy this greatness, and they just get to play the game that we just enjoy. So I'm excited about it.
We're gonna get fed tonight.
Yeah, I don't think meat shield is even a word tonight. Everybody is a meat shield. Everybody's a shield.
Yeah.
Also, Katie was clearly bullying me by saying that word 80 times. I would just like to see if we can get Katie canceled for bullying me, please.
Everyone's just upset because you've already cursed Cammie and Jacob.
Katie, I did not think that you would join my detractors. I'm so hurt. I was such a fan. Now I'm gonna have to say #Emily robbed.
Emily was robbed. It's fair.
Oh my.
Okay,
goodness.
Sparks, it's back to you.
Yeah. So I want to pick somebody that I don't know a single thing about. Two picks I know. I've seen their games. I love them. But I want somebody who I think is going to be a wild card for me because I just don't know how they've done. So I'm excited for you all to explain to me how they played if you know. But I think with that, I'm going to pick Justpreet.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Friend of Podquester Mini, Jess.
Okay, look at that. So I have not seen him play at all. I don't know his style. And I think I'm interested to hear more about him. But just hearing about him, I know that he is someone who will come in to do the game justice, but I'm interested at how he will do it justice.
He was one that I was very excited that he was on the cast. Like, I did not expect him to be on this cast, and I think he definitely deserves it, but I didn't expect to see him. And when I saw him, I was very excited to see him play again and being able to see him play with like all of these greats, right? Like, I remember in Jaspreet's game, I was immediately impressed with it. He's very deadpan, he's very dry, and he has a very good mind for the game. Like, he was thinking rounds ahead. And it was like one of the first times I ever saw someone planning for future rounds. Like, it was one of the first times we saw it where he was like trying to get people in rooms. He's like, hey, let's plan for evens odds. Hey, let's plan for safety chain, far before anyone else. I forget exactly how he went out. I think he was dragged, maybe. I forget why I think he was dragged, and that's what took him out. But he's only played once, and in the one game, he showed that he had a lot of potential. And I mean, I love the fact that he waited, hasn't played again, and his first time back is going to be in this star-studded crew. My only fear is that, similar to you, Sparks, I feel like a lot of these people will not have any idea who he is. Mm-hmm. And that always lends itself to, well, who can we boot early? Who's an easy first boot that nobody knows? In those first few rounds, you're looking at indies, where everybody, you're looking to just avoid hurting feelings because you don't want to send somebody home in the first 2 rounds that you're going to like interact with a bunch and you've already interacted with. So I fear that he could be an early target, but he definitely has a mind for the game. I've always been a big fan of his. Like I said, he's a friend of Podquester. He's always in the chat, and I would love to see him do really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also think that Jaspreet and Nicole have a very similar way about them as far as that deadpan thing, and I also think they play really similarly. As far as like they can be UTR, but they're also they're like they're very firm in the game. They're very solid. They don't go until something unexpected happens. They're not like target after target after target. So they kind of play UTR, but they are also very active players simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and oh crap, that's me next. I was not expecting this. There are a couple of amazing players here, and I'm going to go kind of wild card here and go with somebody we haven't seen play because she was interneted out. I'm going with Sosa. Okay, so I know that Sosa is a big reality TV fan, and I know that she's been watching Sequester. I think she was on Taryn's podcast recently with Sharifa, and I think I am not cursing her. Stop. I think that now that we get to see her play, she's going to go far. I don't think anyone's going to want to take her out because, like, why would you take out a girl who didn't even get to really play her first time in? Like, don't. I think it should be hard to justify as an early boot, to be frank. And I think that she also has a lot of knowledge that will come in handy. So I'm excited to see her play. I know that there are amazing players left on the board, but she was in my head and I was afraid that she would get swooped up. So I had to grab her.
I think you did the right thing because if you didn't, I was, because we don't know how she plays. We don't know what she would be able to do since she wasn't able to actually really play. So I think the fact that, oh my gosh, I think the fact that her being a wild card is something that could be to her advantage. And like you said, I don't think the players are going to want to target her first because it's like, oh, Jesus. If people are targeting her, like, cause I don't know, we didn't get to see her, so I don't think they want to target her just because she had bad luck the first time around. So I think that's a great pick.
Yeah, and I feel like this is the kind of group that will want to see.
Leave Susie alone.
That's clever, though. I'll give
that is clever.
I feel like people will want to see how Sosa plays, and like she was going to be in the influencer mini. That was the mini that she was scheduled for, and then she had tech issues. I mean, we say that she played a few rounds, but really she didn't because we didn't really see her at all because she was in and out for those rounds. So she never really even got to talk to much of anybody. But I love the fact that she is an influencer and was in that group, but still stayed consistent of loving Sequester and still being a part of the community and still watching and still waiting for her time to play. And this is like, she waited for the right time, right? She didn't come in on a patron. She waited for the spot, and this is it. This is the spot. And she gets to go in with some great players. Now, I'm concerned a little bit in the fact that you're a first time player playing with people who have played once through, in some people's case, like 4 or 5 times. You're still a first time player who has never really firsthand experienced a lot of these twists. Just naturally, you're going to be a bit out of the loop, and that's okay in a normal mini. It's harder when you're talking about playing with all of these people who are so adept at the game. My hope would be with Sosa is that someone who needs a number takes her under their wing and says, like, let's go, let's play this game together, and I'll kind of like maneuver you through those rounds. And like, I feel like if she can get that and be like someone's right hand and like go to the end, she could make a move from there. That would be my hope. But it's going to be hard playing the game for the first time when everyone else has played multiple times.
I'm also curious on how much Sequester she has watched. Like, how much of the game does she know? Or is she still going to be navigating understanding twists, especially if Audrey throws new twists at us tonight? How much has she done for research when it comes to the game? I hope she does good, because it would be awesome to see her go far with a cast of people who, are supposed to know what they're doing. So I'm worried about that being a detriment for her of not knowing the game if she didn't do enough research.
Mm-hmm. But I think that might also lead to her success, because I think what could lead to some of these players' detriments is, like, you have Jacob, you have DK, you have Nicole, you have Raymond, who know this game and have played long enough in their games to have encountered some of the rounds where you could over strategize, and then that because you're thinking so much and you're thinking so far ahead and you're trying to like, well, I got to put this, and you have like the whiteboard and you look like the guy from It's Always Sunny who like has all the things and looks terrifying. Like, I think that could lead to some of their detriment. Whereas Sosa could go in and be like, well, let's just go with the flow and let's see what happens. And sometimes that adaptability that she might bring because she has no other choice might lend to her not getting so overwhelmed and stressed about the nitpicking, the strategic part of it. I think if she can play that well, she might be able to get out of some of those rounds where it gets really tough and sticky, where I think it works when you have a few people who are over strategizing, you have a few people who aren't. But in a game where I think like 90% of these people are over strategizing, she might be able to sit back and be like, I'm gonna let y'all blow your own game up and I'm gonna sit and get picked for sticky.
I hope she works with somebody like Emily who's in a similar boat as far as not having the connections. So I hope that like people who are maybe as connected as some of these other players get together to kind of make their own kind of alliance. But yeah, and somebody in the chat mentioned that maybe she talked to Taryn or Aman. Very possible. If she did, then I'm sure she got amazing advice. I know Taryn was saying he's inundated with requests right now, so I'm not sure if he would have had time. If he had time, I'm sure he did talk to her because they know each other and she's amazing. But I mean, that's all speculation, and that's what's great about Sosa. It's all speculation.
Agreed.
Okay, Louie, are you up?
It's Lana, but don't take
Lana.
my pick, Lana. Don't do it. Don't take it.
I don't even know who you're picking, but I know who I'm picking.
I know.
And I am going to pick Shannon. I think.
Oh, that's a good one.
And this is the thing. I don't know Shannon. I'm like Jacob on this one. I'm picking someone I don't know their game. I don't know their style. If you all know, you can tell me more about her. But I think from the little bits that I've heard about her, I think she can go far in this game. I also think a lot of people won't know. I don't know. I don't want to sound stupid and say I don't know if people know who she is or too much about her, just because I don't know too much about her. But I just look. But basically, these last few picks I'm picking is going on my gut, and these are strictly gut because I am new to this game. I don't know everybody, and I don't know their past histories and everything that they've done in this game. But Shannon just seemed to be someone I think is who she can go far in this game, and y'all can tell me if I'm wrong or not. I just feel like I just like her. I looked at the picture and I said I like her, and so I'm going with her. There it is.
It's interesting because I mean I feel like it is easy, you know. I feel like not many people watch Saturday's Mini, and she just played literally the last Patron Mini she played on Saturday. But I don't think anybody watched that, and it was not. Sorry, guys. It was not exciting. It was, it was definitely bottom tier Sequester, but I feel like that is to her benefit. So she's finished second before and was kind of ragged a little bit because she didn't play a great game and didn't make any moves. And then she came back last week and played a much better game. She was, saying names, she was making moves, and she did well. Her position was not as good. I mean, I think she was like first member of the jury, I believe, so not nearly as good as second place, but she played a much better game, and she played a much better game that she could adapt to playing with all of these big names. And I feel like she is in a good spot because I don't picture people targeting her, and I think she is likable and nice enough to kind of blend in and not have to worry in those early rounds. There's certain people, because of who they are, they're going to have to worry immediately. I don't think Shannon is one of them. And she's proven now that she has gotten her footing within the game, that once she does get to that spot, probably midway through the game, if she can turn it on and actually start making those moves and being strategic, that she can, that she has a shot. It's set up very well for her, this cast, I feel like.
Good. Okay.
And when she was number 2, she was sitting next to Cameron, and I think it was when she was in second, when she got runner up. And I think next to Cameron is a very hard game to win, especially that game because Cam had like I don't know, at least 30 LOSs, I think. Like, she's an LOS queen. So her story was so
wow.
good about having to fight the whole game. So I don't know if I would say Shannon is robbed, but Shannon definitely deserves a crown, is the way I see that
Yeah.
duo.
Was she in the mini that had like Cameron, Hunter, Drew, and like they were all in a room together at the start, or is that a different game?
That was the one.
was
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, because like I said, I didn't know, but now I'm happy with the pick. I'm comfortable with that. Thank you.
Your instincts were right. The spirit moved you the right
It
way
moved in the right
again.
direction, honey. I did not know.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So that means, Louie, you are up with the 2 ones.
My
two
pick is still there. I absolutely did not think he would make it back to me, but I'm so glad he did. I am picking the King of Chaos, Marcelo.
Marcelo, good. Maybe Charlie will shut up now.
Right.
In the chat.
I consider Marcelo to be one of the most fun players to watch in Sequester Mini history. I don't think it's even close. Every time he plays a game, it is fantastic drama. Watching the way he plays, in terms of he just plays so chaotically and so intense and cares so much within the game about winning. He's great with LOSs. He's willing to call anyone out. He is, he's willing to make huge moves, including cutting his own friends and his own allies. Like, the international mini is one of what I consider all-time best, and it was largely because of him and kind of his entire character arc throughout that entire game. I'm a huge fan of Marcelo. I have been since the first time in his first mini, where, I mean, he had the game, he was going to the end, and he just didn't know how to play LOSs. He had 2 in his pocket going into Final 7 and just didn't know when to play them, so he got eliminated. But, if we're talking about that, he very easily would have made Final 4 there. He played another great game the second time around. I have only good things to say about Marcelo, and I hope he goes a while, because if he does, it will be a lot of fun to watch tonight.
Yeah, he so I was just saying, I don't remember his game that well because I didn't watch the international mini, which seems to have been like the worst choice of 2020 right now, because from what I understand, it was amazing. But I remember his first game, and I was just like, wait, he was like, we have to target women, and I was like, dunzo. So I'm excited to get an opportunity to see Marcelo like really play, because I do think he's one of those players that, again, from what I understand, really switches up his game, really starts thinking outside of the box, because Sequester is so fast paced that it can be a little hard to get caught up on it. And I think that if he can run in time, that he's really got a chance.
Yeah, I'm hoping for some good organized chaos from him. Like some beautiful, messy stuff, but like in a way that he knows exactly what to say, when to say it, to make it chaotic in a way that works for him. Very excited to see that.
Yeah, because chaos in a cast like this is either going to be hit or miss. It's either going to be like, yeah, let's keep them in, this is fun, or it'll be, no, they need to go immediately. They're making this not easy to navigate. And that's the issue with chaos. I'm hoping it works out in his favor, because I love to watch chaos, but we'll see.
Very true.
Also, originator of the leaving a room and going back immediately just to see what they're saying, which always causes so much fun if people are saying his name, because he's not, a lot of times we see people do that and just kind of play it off. Marcelo doesn't play it off. He comes back in the room and he says, I heard what you say. Why are you saying that? And goes directly at people. So, it's not everyone's way to play the game, but it certainly is an entertaining way to play the game.
I'm excited to see it because I love chaos. And if you go bring the chaos tonight, then I'm all about it. I'm all about it.
So then, Louie, you have a second pick. What are you thinking?
Oh, difficult. I want to pick someone, but I feel like it's a very similar player to Marcelo that I don't know if I should do it.
Okay.
I'll do it. I'm gonna go with Dan Alt. And he's another one that I feel like people won't remember his game. He was in Muna's first game, and he was someone who was a target immediately. And he lasted well into the jury, not really changing people's mind, but playing a game I feel like that I play a lot is just running for his life. Like he was constantly like one vote away from leaving. He was constantly just convincing like one player to keep him or getting an LOS. Like he's gotten a ton of LOSs. Like I think he played like 2 or 3 in that game. Like I respect the game that I saw from Dan. I think he played another private mini, which I didn't see. But like in the game that I saw, I was very impressed by how he managed to survive. I think it's another case where I could have picked bigger names or safer names, but I feel like I trust in the fact that Dan will fight to the very end to last and do whatever it takes to get there. So I feel okay. I feel good with that pick.
I may be wrong, but the private mini that Dan played, did he get kicked out for there was like 2 Dans or something, or is that totally someone else? Because I remember there was a mini and I thought it was Dan's where there were like 2 people with the same name, and that was the main motivation for getting them out. Not sure if that's correct, but
so I know he played in the R-Hat mini. I didn't watch it, so I don't know how he went out, but I know he went out in the R-Hat mini with like 2 LOSs in his pocket. Like he was trying to save them. So I feel like that in itself, if he can grab some, I think that that's a benefit. And I think also he's someone who did play a loyal game when I saw it. And like he was trying to, nobody wanted him there, but he was trying to play a loyal game. So he could be a good number to have. Like him and Muna went at it. One of the things that made Muna such a legend was her going at Dan. And Dan didn't back up. Like if Muna went at me, I would just say I'm sorry 100 times. But he did not. Like he fought back and he fought for himself. And it's that takes a lot of courage.
Yeah, I agree that he's less connected. But I'm really hoping these less connected players come together and kind of don't let that separate them. Because, and again, I think a less connected person, if you're smart, you do want to take them far because you want to sit next to them. If you're well connected, you want to sit next to someone who's less connected than you. Because, Sequester, your adrenaline's going, your emotions are going. It could be very easy to win emotionally if you talk right. Okay, so then we are back to you, Lana.
Okay. I am going to go with Mel.
Oh.
Because I heard a lot of good things about her last night. And the fact that she is one of those players who's not as connected as a lot of the other players in this game. I think that she could maybe get with those players. If they're smart, they'll get with each other who don't have all the connections and start building their connections to help propel them through the game. And so I think that she can play that under the radar game that everybody's talking about and that people won't target her. They could target her because they don't know her, or they might not target her because they want to bring her in as a number. So it's either way, it can go 50-50 with her. So, and we don't know a lot about her. I don't know a lot about her, and I don't know if anybody else knows a lot about her. I know she does the rap. She's a part of that community. That's what I heard. And so I'm thinking, she might have talked to some people and maybe got some connections. I don't know. And a lot of people may not know. So it's just like, let's just see. It's like just throw it out and see what happens. She's one of those players. You put her out there and you see what happens.
If the rap's history within Sequester is any proof, they've done so well in these games overall that if that says anything about anything, that she should have a good shot at this. I think the thing going for Mel is the fact that I feel like basically no one has seen much of her game. She is, well known within Twitter, I think. At least I'm very familiar with her on Twitter and talking about Sequester and that sort of thing. She is very connected on there. So I feel like a lot of people probably know her. And that's something to be said, right? Like if you play a game with someone you've never really spoken directly with, but have seen their tweets or liked their tweets and that sort of thing, I feel like that's something immediate. You're like, oh, it's you. I want to get to know you. I want to talk to you. This is cool that I'm meeting you for the first time. I feel like a lot of people, and the fact that she works with rap, I feel like that may lend itself to people wanting to get to know her better and play the game with her.
Yeah, I think that the other thing that Mel really has going for her is we talked a lot about shields, but in this game there are so many shields that you want to keep some of the UTRs around so that you can maybe look bigger next to them. So if she's UTR, then when you have a chance to get out a big player or her, you might go for the big player. The bigger personality, the bigger reputation. All right, and oh crap, am I next?
You are.
You are next.
I'm about to make the chat so mad.
Oh, this is gonna be great.
Don't you dare pick who I'm picking. I'm gonna be very upset with you.
I am picking Kaylee.
They're about to lose it. Oh, they're about to lose
The
it.
chat's gonna just score. They're gonna be so angry.
Why? I was one pick away from getting her. Ow!
God, stop, chat. They are.
You better fix that pick, sis.
This is the thing. Kaylee also has that kind of personality where you're like, she's fun. Is she playing? And then you're like, oh shit, she's really playing situation. I think that the showmance thing and the last one kind of, I don't want to say it distracted her, but it because of the I think girl played too much, maybe basically what I'm saying. I'm like, stop talking to Gray at all. I don't care. Go focus on the game. So I am excited to see her in this game where I know she's going to go guns out. And she is entertaining. Mm-hmm. A final decision. Screw you guys.
She's definitely entertaining.
I am. Every time somebody in my team leaves, I'm just like, this is why I'm not even on the stream tonight. So suck it, y'all.
The thing about Kaylee, though, is she has become in recent minis such a tempting target to drag at that point that I am worried that will happen to her again tonight just because of the way she plays. You keep her around for a while, but you don't let her get to the end. So I think she could have a consistent issue again tonight of just being a really tempting target to drag at that point, especially if she votes for whoever goes on that round.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think you go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I feel like Kaylee, it always gets, the game always starts out so strong for Kaylee. And I feel like she always comes in doing really well. And you're like, oh, this is the time. She's in a great position. She looks really good. She's going to go far. And then it progressively, as the night goes on, goes continually downhill until the fact where you're like, yeah, this is going to end really soon. And then she's on her way out. So I feel like, if she can keep up that pace and keep her head in the game, as it gets later on, as time progresses, she could be in a good spot. We just haven't seen her get there as of yet.
Katie already says no. Katie was like, no.
I don't think I think she's a good player, but I don't think she's gonna win tonight. And she could totally prove me wrong, but I think she is just such a tempting target that people would be. It would be very dangerous for someone to sit next to her in the final two.
Yeah. But I think I wonder if people are already maybe writing her off, then she'd be like, well, Lana, bye. And then bam, get you.
Brayden's like, why isn't anyone talking about why they picked the people? I just said why I picked Kaylee. I think that I saved her for this late because I think she's a good player, that she is one of those entertaining players who you don't think is paying attention, but is. And then sometimes she plays too much. And I think that's exactly what Louie was saying too, is that she starts to slip up towards the end of the game, and that's the same thing. I think she's an amazing player, but I don't know. I want her to surprise us. I hope she's really pissed at us somewhere and is going to come out the gate and say, they're all going home.
And she could possibly do that. She could come out and surprise us all and win this whole thing. And I wouldn't be surprised by that because she is such a good player. But if she loses focus, like we've seen before, then that could be her downfall. But other than that, I think she could be just as good as anybody else.
I think when she played with me, her mind was not together due to some decisions she had made prior to entering the game and during the game. That involved a little Prosecco and, little fun there. But I think what happened in the other game is she tried to make a move, and it was a move and I think in my mind it was smart. I'm just going to throw my vote on a friend of mine because I feel like even if they go home, I'm safe. And we saw what happened, and it was an entertaining as hell moment, but it was so unfortunate for her because in my mind, when Matt had voted himself out and he was out, I was like, Kaylee's for sure making it to jury. There's absolute, she's the one person guaranteed to make it to jury, and she got dragged and gooped us all in a moment that we didn't see coming. And so I think now she is going to come in with her mind together, her heart together, everything together. And she's going to come in and she's going to be the entertaining queen that we know and love by doing her random bits during moments of silence. And she's going to be funny with the mods. She's going to be entertaining with the cast. And she's going to provide us those confessionals that we know and love. But I think what she's going to do is implement the strategy that we want to see from Kaylee that encompasses the beauty we see in her social. And I think if she can do that, we've got a badass on our hands that I'm excited to watch slay the game. So I'm hoping that incorporates and just boosts the game that she already can do very well, even better.
Agreed. I think this is where we want to see Kaylee come to fruition, rather than maybe imbibing fruits. Okay, that got weird. That was wordplay, y'all. It didn't work. Oh, this is all live. Okay. Now it is up to you, Sparks.
Well, because you picked my queen, I think I'm gonna pick somebody I think everybody wants. And so I'm gonna be picking Dylan.
That's a good one.
I'm excited to see him play. I never really watched his games. He's another person that I kind of missed when I started watching Sequester. And I know that he's someone that from watching him and his streams and all that, he's entertaining, he's funny, he's a goofball, and he's lovable. I feel like I would enjoy working with him and being like, I'm happy to have Dylan as somebody I want to keep and work with and have somebody that's on my side. I think he also has good connections and relationships because he's so in the community that I think that's going to also benefit his game. So I'm excited to see him be that sociable player. And then also I think he knows the strategy to get some big names out to keep himself from going home and making the game entertaining for us as the audience while making sure it doesn't detriment him inside the game itself.
Yeah, I think that Dylan's really entertaining. He's also incredibly well connected. He's just super in the community. I think that, everyone's going to, if there's pre-gaming going on, I don't know if Dylan's personality is to pre-game, but I know his connections would allow him to do so better than a lot of other players.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious how connected he is, though. Here's the thing. He's obviously a figurehead within the community. Everybody knows him or knows of him. But does anyone on the board really actually know him, right? I've never spoken with Dylan, right? I know of Dylan, but I've never had conversations or tweet conversations with him. And I don't know if many of the cast actually has. And that would be my one question. I feel like it's kind of Beth was a little different in Winners at War because we had all talked with Beth, but it was similar in the fact that you look at someone and you're kind of oh, they're a part of production, right? They're a part of Sequester and what makes Sequester. And that just kind of makes you stand out a little bit. It puts you apart from the people who are playing. So I wonder if that comes into anyone's mind where they're like, oh, well, you know, it's cool playing with him, but it's not the end of the world if we vote him out because he's actually a part of the show that we are playing, right? So I don't know really how connected he is, despite the fact that he's probably the most well-known name on the board.
Yeah. Well, he also, though, like Ryan pointed out, he knows these players' games for sure. Oh my gosh, Jacob Sparks, what did you do?
I'm just asking for the audience participation. Should I get my girl Kaylee or should I get my girl Kaylee?
Y'all are so mean. So anyway, as I was saying, Dylan, even if he doesn't have connections, he has the most knowledge, undeniably, of any of these players of the game. So he might be able to, you know, he'll be able to make the best plans probably because he knows these players the best.
That is true, for sure.
I'm hoping it all works out. At the end of the day, I'm hoping it all works out.
That's the best.
I mean, if it works out
Right?
if it works out for any of these players, I think we'll be pretty happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Gonna work
prepare
out
for
for
one
the
of them.
4 I have.
Katie, this is your potentially last pick.
Yeah, I don't know any of these people, to be entirely honest.
Same.
So we're gonna go with Bill and see how that does. What do y'all know about good old Bill here?
We love Bill.
Is Bill
Perfect.
a mod? Bill mods, right? Or no?
That's
Yeah.
Billy.
Bill,
Oh, is it Bill?
Bill may have mod. Bill's been in the community for a very, very long time, longer than most of these people on the board. Like if somebody is acquainted with Dylan, I imagine it would be Bill. And Bill played a lot for a while and was going out early all of the time because he is such a big personality. He's so vibrant and so likable and always has incredible videos. And I feel like because of that, it always makes him an early target. Now, I thought this looking at this cast that if Bill is going to succeed in a mini, and like the last time he went out, I think it was Night of the Living Dead. He might have played one after that, but when he was on the after show, I talked to him and I was like, is it just like, do you have a target on you? Like, is it always whenever you come into a game, you're going to be targeted? And I feel like he took a step back and he hasn't played in a while. And this is the first time he's going to play since then. And I think if he's going to succeed in a cast, he will succeed in this cast because even though he's a huge personality, so is everybody else. So I feel like he's not going to get targeted for that this time. And this is a group that will hopefully work with him. But kind of like what you were all saying is that maybe now the fact that he took a step back might not help him because he isn't as well known by a lot of these newer players, even though like people from mine and Susie's generation all, know Bill, like this newer generation, like season 2, I don't think really know who Bill is.
No. Cool.
No, I don't know who he is either, but everybody in the chat is like, oh, he's OG Bill, and you got, y'all sleeping on Bill, so I think.
And so that's why I
maybe.
picked Bill. The chat was saying that we were sleeping on him, so I'm like, all
We're
right,
sleeping,
guess we'll
so I'm like-
wake up.
I agree. Wake on up. Somebody got to wake up, and if it wasn't none of us, it got to be you. Wake up, baby.
Okay, well then what we have here is
Wheel
what is
time.
final until wheel time.
I kind of
So-
hope Sparks gets the wheel because then Kaylee's going to join us.
Right.
I knew y'all were gonna say that.
I kind of only want to see that, but yeah,
But I would
Okay.
also like some power as well.
me too.
please.
I would also.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, if not Sparks, let it be me.
Let it be.
Let it be me.
Okay.
Come on, wheel.
Oh, well,
I know exactly what I'm going to do already.
I
I
want
know,
it.
me too.
I get it.
I want it.
Same.
I want it.
So let's reiterate the rules. So we have the choice. If it lands on us, we can take any of these last two players, or we can swap out one of the players for somebody who was picked in the last round.
Keep going.
Yep.
No, it's not
Come
gonna
on.
be me.
Oh,
we need to be way fast.
Keep going.
Stop.
Keep going. Stop. Stop. Stop.
Come on,
Stop.
come on, come on, come on, baby, come on.
Stop.
Katie!
Oh!
Woo! We love to see it.
Well, that's fair.
Oh,
Who is he going to take?
this is the first time I ever wanted the wheel. Oh,
Okay, so then, but we do this twice, right, Louie? Because
Right.
we have two people.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you still have a chance, everyone.
Let me look
If
at my
Sparks
Twitter poll
steals
real quick.
Kaylee, can whoever the second person is steal
Steal
Kaylee from
from
Sparks, or
Sparks?
is it once they're stolen once they're good
Yeah, I
to
think
go?
we can. You
Unlocked.
can.
Yeah, is this like a white elephant where you can't steal twice?
I don't know. We didn't. What did you write in your rule book, Susie?
You know what? She can be stolen again. I'm gonna go ahead
Yeah.
and say that. So screw you
Susie's
all.
opening the Lana, she'll steal her back.
The production in this game is rigged,
And what about it?
right?
and
Okay.
so what? And
Well,
so
if
what?
I look at my Twitter poll with 14 votes, it looks like the majority said yes.
Well, both
To,
options were yes,
look-
because I wanted to go vote no. And that was
Katie.
a choice.
Well, if Susie's
Okay.
rigging production, so am I. So
Just a second. Let me spin the other person first, Jacob, because
Okay.
I have to keep going back between tabs. And it's too
yeah,
annoying.
let's do it.
Spin it.
Come on.
Oh, I can't get the wheel twice.
No,
No,
no, you cannot.
That would be production favoritism, and we don't do that here.
Not here, not on this show.
Never.
Oh, oh, oh. This does not look good. Oh wait, come on, keep going.
No.
Oh, this is not
Keep
looking
going. Go, 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 go,
Not
go, go.
good.
Why am I acting like this could happen for me?
So, I knew I hated the wheel. Ugh.
The wheel has only done good things for me. I'm here for it.
I'm
Can
not.
Can we say once again that the wheel is racist?
It's very racist. It's very racist. I'm
Right.
going to stick by that. I will never change my mind. The wheel is racist.
I'm not gonna say you're wrong. It's an accurate statement.
It is very. Oh, all right, man.
Give us your turns, Katie and Sparks. Reparations. We need your extra people.
Don't worry, Susie. I'm not gonna steal from you. I promise.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Katie. Sparks, can you make me the
first.
same promise?
I personally knew that y'all were gonna
Oh,
sleep
just shut up.
on Kaylee.
Just take her.
And so my thought process was to take her later on. So my goal is I will be stealing Kaylee for her to be cursed on my team. I'd rather her be cursed under my name than cursed under Susie's name. I'll take the responsibility off your hands, Susie. I'm doing you a solid. Would hate for you to have
Do
that on
it.
your hands.
Whatever. I saw Kaylee say that she would prefer it anyway, so whatever, Kaylee. You can have her. All right, Katie, who is your choice?
So it's anyone from the last 2 rounds.
Yep.
I'm gonna take
Take
Marcelo.
Kaylee.
I'm gonna take Marcelo.
No.
Yeah.
Don't
I'm gonna
do
take
that.
Marcelo. Yeah, I want him on my team.
I didn't see that coming. That's no. I don't like this at all.
Makes you
Wait,
That's
how?
terrible.
Wait,
This
can
is
I
y'all's
just ask a
twist.
question? Louie and I made these rules and we got screwed.
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
no, that's a loosey screw up.
We're gonna take Marcelo.
I know. When I saw he was in that second, I'm like, oh, okay, that's a good steal right there.
I
if can
said so
get
many
him.
nice things about him too. I went through
I
all
know.
of like his accomplishments and things, and then you just took him
He
away
wasn't
from
on
me.
my radar until you talked him up. And I was like, you know what? He would
No.
do really good on Team Katie.
You know, this is what I get for being an honest analyst by really going in detail. Now I've gotten screwed.
Can I just say that I do love this song that Katie and Sparks is singing right now? I'm jamming to this bop because nobody messed with mine, so I am jamming.
We got you, Lana. I know better.
I'm jamming to this song.
Louie, you are devastated, so I will let you pick first of the last.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm all thrown off now. Well, I'm gonna take Brandon. Here's the thing: is that he, even though he went home first in the last game, that really wasn't his fault. Nobody knew who he was, and they just randomly booted him because he was singing in an auditorium. Let's hope that this time he chooses not to pick a gymnasium to sing in. Just don't sing in your audition video. I think you'll be all right. But I mean, he played an incredible game his first game around. He was another one. If we're talking about robbed, I mean, we can argue. I mean, we can probably argue for days and probably come to a pretty good conclusion that he's the most robbed one on this list, right? He had a victory in his hands, and Ryan kept talking, and Ryan continued to talk, and then the rules changed. And the rules changed, and Brandon suffered because of it. So it was the first time it ever happened, and it's become a new rule now. So, Brandon could very easily be on that leaderboard if Ryan didn't take it into his own hands to start changing rules. So, he's maybe tonight is the night that, Brandon gets back to that spot again, and, he'll know the rules this time, and I think he'll have a good shot. And I think it helped him. If anybody did watch the Saturday Mini, which I'm sure no one did, but if anybody watched it and they saw that he got voted out first, like that, I think helps him because it did lessen his target. And I feel like he'll be ready to go this time around. And I'm happy that he went from like robbed king to first boot, that he gets a chance again the very next week, because I do feel he deserves it. So to be honest, if I hit the wheel, if I got the wheel first, and this is also because I'm a gentleman and a good game player, I would not have stolen. I would have just taken Brandon. So
liar. Yeah.
It's because he had Marcelo on his team at that point.
But
so
if anybody knows about going from first boot to a high up, it's your girl. So I think he's got a good chance. I love the kid, but he worries me a little bit. He just can't put that he was first boot in his video, because we know what happens when you put that in your video.
Yes.
You're either first boot again or you're second boot right after. So Brandon, I hope you didn't put it in your video that we're going to see in an hour.
Pressure's on.
I know your phone's turned off, but.
So we have like 250 people watching and 50 likes. Just FYI, like our video.
We need more likes.
We need more subscribers. But what were we? We were like 3 away from 700 subscribers.
Oh, you hit 700 at the beginning.
No, we got it. Yeah, we got 700. Yeah.
Go team.
So, woo! Let me talk about my last pick. And if I had not been robbed of Kaylee, I would have chosen Raymond, probably.
I was worried about him.
I really want him on my team. I think he's a fantastic player, and I think he's a personality I don't have on my team yet. Now, I don't know much about Josh's game, so I'll tell you why I'm excited that he's on my team. Look at the aesthetics that are happening on my team, y'all. Tell me not every single one. Bam, 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 bam.
That is a good-looking team.
I also think not very many people know him. Like, if I don't know much about him, and if you don't know much about him, Louie, then I don't think a lot of these players will know much about him. And I think they will kind of let him stay around a little while. And hopefully during that time, we see him really, I don't know, blossom.
Mm-hmm. Is there a reason to why he was robbed? Like, does anybody know what was considered like his reason for being robbed when he played?
I do not. I know it was the first, I believe it was Beth's Mini, I think, the first one that he was in. The only thing I know about Josh, and I think the only thing most of these people who are playing will know about Josh, is the fact that he made the edits for this BB Can, BBUS Sequester, and he made a few of those episodes, which were really, really good. And everybody watched those. And I feel like if they know that name, like Josh.com, like they'll know who he is. But he's the only one here who I did not watch his mini. And I can't really say anything at all about his gameplay.
Yeah, same. I didn't watch his mini, but I like that he's old school and that he has a similar kind of situation as Dylan does as far as connections. And I think that, maybe I just think he'll probably be very sociable. If he's into like artistry and stuff, he's probably going to be kind of a sociable player.
I agree with that. I very much agree with that.
But again, it's all speculation. I like how much speculation I have on my team.
And if they're smart, if you're an unconnected player, you gotta group up with the other unconnected player. Or if you are a connected player and you have a good group, you want to scoop up one or two of the unconnected players and have them come aboard. So, I feel like you could definitely be in a good spot, being one of the few people who are connected to no one. And I feel like him, Dan, a few others, Jaspreet, are people, Sosa, who aren't really connected to anyone, who, can be used and put themselves in a good position if they play it well.
Like we said before, there is no wrong answers and no wrong players in this cast. This is just an amazing group of people. And I am so excited to watch this. I don't even know what to do with myself. I'm trying not to get too excited and jittery because I start talking too much when I do that. But this is just a great group of people who are going to give us everything we ever wanted in the minis game. I think we're going to have the characters. We're going to have the big personalities. We're going to have the strategic people. We're going to have everything that we all love to see in a cast. And so this is just going to be exciting. I'm excited.
Yeah, I think it's going to be damn near impossible for us to be disappointed with how tonight goes or how the winner, whoever ends up winning is going to be an amazing addition to the leaderboard and will very rightfully be getting the crown that was robbed from them.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And whoever wins this, please target Ryan at Winners at War. Thank you.
Yeah, target Ryan at Winners at War.
Thank you for your service.
Target him.
I will not have you speak about Ryan that way. I just can't allow this to happen.
Sequester is going to tank Ryan's game 3 months before
you are not going to do that to Ryan today.
Poor kid.
Ryan, I have your back.
People are going to be like, why should Ryan win? We're going to be like, he's very tall.
If I'm on that draft, I'm picking Ryan first. I'm saying that now.
You can do that. I don't want early boots on my draft list.
He will not get early boots.
Wow.
I'm coming for you now.
Come for me, Lana.
I'm coming for you now.
Well, it was nice being a correspondent while it lasted. I already attacked Suzi in the draft. I'm attacking Lana. So.
Yeah, it's over.
Sexism.
I know. He's sexist and racist. I'm over the part. So I'm done with you today. We're calling you out. Goodbye, Sparks.
I'm like the wheel.
You're the wheel.
I am the wheel.
I love this so much. I can't.
I'm excited for y'all to come on though and correspond this. I'm excited to watch. I think it's Louie and Lana, right? Y'all are.
I am here.
Yes.
Isn't Charlie on tonight too after all his shenanigans?
He is.
Yep.
Here.
Please give shit to Charlie. He's been in the chat giving shit to us this whole time. So
Suzi bounced him, blocked him, kicked him.
He's bound to have opinions.
He has to deal with not only just me, but Muna and Geneva and Louie. No, he has. Yeah, Charlie better watch it tonight. Watch it, Charlie. I see you. I see you.
Commentary Charlie coming at you in 50 minutes.
I'm very ready.
You know I
do. Goodbye, Charlie, if Lana gets her way.
As long as he's not screaming like he said he would do. Do not scream and both in my ear, Charlie. I'm not playing that tonight.
Not the burp screams.
I will say that the craziest part is that this is the first one. This would be so exciting just if this was something that was thrown together and we got this. We get this every Friday. That's insane.
Yeah.
Like,
So
they're only going to get more crazy after this.
I
So,
feel like this does set a precedent, though. Like these 22 people are going to set the tone for what All Stars might look like moving forward. So we need it to be an iconic battle of the best robbed people in Sequester history. And I'm ready.
I'm ready.
What I love about this is that it's going to be on the leaderboard because we've been seeing really good players in the privates. And while they're still being competitive and they're still, playing with like no regrets, this leaderboard adds a little bit more. And I know every single one of these people wants to be on that leaderboard, and they want to be on the leaderboard because they took out fucking all stars. You know what I mean? Like, I know I have a really wild card team, but taking out a single one of these people already makes you an all star. So taking out all 21 of these people, it's done. You just
it's like winning 2 sequesters.
Yeah, it'd be so scary to be on a cast like this. Like, I cannot imagine anyone is going into this feeling confident. Like, this would be terrifying because you are playing against the best of the best, and you are going to have to play your ass off to get to the end. We're not going to be able to float to the end. It's just not going to work.
It's going to be exciting because people are not playing this game. Then nobody gonna come in and be like, oh, I just like this person. No, it has to take a whole lot more than me liking you to keep you. It's like, can I see you sitting next to me in the end? People are going to be thinking 3, 4, 5 steps ahead, not just the next round ahead, because these are not people you want to play with.
Yeah, I think it'll be clear early on how this is going to go, right? Like within the first few minutes, how these people play, it's going to show, like, are they, willing to take out the easy targets because there are easy targets, or are they going to go and take big shots early on? And I'm very, very interested in seeing the first round and also what the first round twist is to see how they start playing, because I think it'll be, similar to what we saw on Tuesday, similar to what we saw at Winners at War. Like, there's a lot of, when you get big players in one game, like, they go out immediately really, really hard. Like, Heroes versus Villains was the same thing. And I feel like these people are going to come out of the gate raring to go.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah. Okay. So I know that y'all probably want to eat and drink before we get started tonight. I know apparently Charlie has to take 80 shots or something. So
can we throw out winner predictions? I always like to do this. One name who's the winner.
Oh gosh.
I think DK has a chance. I think that DK really has a chance. If he can get to the top 4, I think he wins. If he gets to the top 5, I think he can win. And I feel better saying this knowing they're already all locked up.
That's true. That's what I was just thinking in my head. I'm like, okay, I gotta be careful what I say.
Yeah, they are.
Nope, they're locked up now, so we can let it roar. I think that if DK can get to the top 6, then he's pretty easy to win. That man can out-talk you. He can put the fear of God into you. And then if he's in the top 4, you can't resist letting him get to number 2. And if he's number 2, he wins against anybody. There's nobody if he sits next to you that can beat him.
I'm going to go on a similar target then. Since you picked DK, I'm going to go with someone else who I think is an incredible talker. And if he gets to the end, he'll out-talk anybody. I'm going to say Jacob wins tonight.
That's what I was going to say, Louie. I think Jacob's going to win tonight. I think he could navigate the gameplay enough and then get himself to the end and be able to talk himself into a win.
I can see that. For sure.
I can see that too. But I'm going to go Angelica because I believe if she makes it to that top 2, she is not going to let that slip through her hands again because she is very determined. As from what I know, she was so scared of my mini to make it to the final 2 and not win. So I think that she learned from that time that she has to fight all the way to the end. And if she makes it to that final 2, she's not going to let somebody out-talk her to that win. So I'm going to go with Angelica.
My top pick was Jacob. I think that we just don't have enough Jacob winners, and there needs to be more. But I think that he's going in. His heart is in it to the max. But I think I want to change it up a little bit. I think Chelsea. I'm going to put my bets on Chelsea. I think she's got that personality that you don't have it in you to kick her out just yet, and you wait a little too long, and then you're out, and she got you. So I think she's going to slay it, and I think she can attest her skills in Final 2 if she makes it.
You notice that none of us said any of our first round picks?
Yeah. Only because we don't want to seem like, oh, of course I'm picking my first pick. Just to
Well, not our first pick, even other people's first picks.
I picked Angelica.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
DK and Angelica were
first
the only
pick.
Yeah,
people
you picked my first pick.
So you picked a first round pick,
suck at
Susie.
this. Okay, I suck at this. All right, this is easy.
I just think it's hard because I do have faith in my team. I have faith in everyone I pick, but I also like other people's picks because I was going to pick them too if I had the chance to pick them. So, but it's just, yeah.
Somebody mentioned Alona, and in the chat somebody mentioned Alona, and I think that if she can get to the final 2, she is sharp. She is sharp. She's a freaking knife. And now that she has been cut by her sister in the final 4, I don't think anybody's gonna be like safe. She'll go for anyone. We call Nicole an assassin. She is absolutely an assassin.
My heart wants Emily to win. So my heart wants Emily to win so bad because I absolutely adore her. But I know it's going to be a really, really hard one for her to get to the end. But that's who if I could pick and like choose who wins, I would love Emily to win. I would love to see that.
I was like, I want to pick Cammy. I want to pick Cammy to win. I want her. My heart is saying I want Cammy to win. That's what my heart is saying because Cammy has just been robbed so many times, and my heart is saying Cammy. But I also know the wheel is racist if it pops up, and I also know she's gonna have a hard time with the hill she has to climb. So.
At the end of the day, 22 iconic people are playing. We're going to be mad and happy and sad every single round. We're going to feel so many mixed emotions. And I truly feel this is not going to be a game where we are going to argue over someone else should have won, like we did with Katie and Emily. You know, we were so mad that Emily didn't get it. But...
so upset, yeah. I know, guys. I'm really bad at the game. It was really. I hope Emily gets her crown tonight because I'm really, really bad at Sequester. Really bad.
But I'm excited to see this play out. And again, they have a lot of, not just because they have a fight to fight with how many people are in here, but they have a fight on setting the bar for all stars. So they've got a hill to climb.
Yeah, this is going to be something because if this is like the exciting game we all are anticipating it going to be, next week's cast got a lot to live up to. So this is going to be interesting. I can't wait. I'm literally like, let's go. Is it time yet? Like,
is it 8 already?
Gotta eat some dinner before all the drinking begins.
Okay, let me grab your banner so people can follow you on the Twitters.
On the Twitters. Can I just say I love this community so much? Can I just say that? Yeah, this is like one of the most open and just fun group of people to ever work to be a part of. I love it. I'm loving this.
Us too. Yeah. We love.
That's
so
you.
This is Katie. Katie, do you want to tell us what we can find on your Twitter?
Reality TV talking shit about all reality TV. Occasionally, I throw some politics in there because I'm very passionate about what I believe in. But yeah, you'll see a lot of live tweeting of reality shows.
Yay! And then we have Jacob Sparks.
Yes. Find me tweeting some shade at Suzi. Answer the poll in my tweet.
Until he is blocked, I will block you. I have shown that I am not afraid to block you all. Yeah, that's Charlie. You will get blocked.
And then I'll be tweeting about the Sequester Mini. I'm excited to watch it and excited to chat in the comments. Hopefully you all join me in commenting with this fabulous soon-to-be panel of commentators in 40 minutes.
So yeah, that's me. On my Twitter is just me chatting about reality stuff and Sequester now. It's become my life, and my family hates it, but it is what it is. And um, also, like Katie, politics is something I'm very passionate about, and Black Lives Still Matter. It's not a trend. I will continue to say it for as long as people think it's over, because it's not. And that's it. Oh, and my sisters and I, the Going Sisters, we sing. Check us out on YouTube. There we go.
All right, I'm gonna move you all backstage. So, Louie, who else is with you tonight for the commentary?
Good question. A lot of people.
Okay, do you want me to tell you?
Yes, please
Muna.
tell me. I like to be surprised. I like to go in and be like, oh, look who's here.
I didn't know. Yeah, that'll be great. You'll send them the wrong link. It'll be amazing.
Oh,
They'll be
yeah.
surprised too. So Lana will be back. Muna will be here. And Geneva and Commentary Charlie will all be your guests tonight, as well as Audrey R, Gio, and I think there's one more person. That might be
Alex Day.
Alex Day. Yes, yes. So you have a full up panel tonight. We are taking advantage of StreamYard and seeing how it works. And yes, I should make names up. That would be great.
What a group. What a group. What a group.
You got all the Tims. So it should be a good game tonight, as well as good commentary.
I am so excited. I cannot contain my excitement. I'm kind of nervous, honestly. I'm nervous for a few of them. There's a few of them who have my whole heart, and I adore them, and I really want to see. I mean, I would love for them to win, but not so much. I just want them to do well, right? Like, it would make me sad if they went out early. So I just hope they have a fun time. I feel, I'm proud that they're cast, and I just want them to have fun and come out of it thinking that was a good experience. So that's what I'm hoping
but there are
for.
a couple of them that I know if they don't win, they will be devastated. And since there can only be one winner, I think some people are going to be devastated tonight.
I mean, it's the way it is. I'm devastated every time I play. So it's you pick up your bootstraps, you go to bed, and you're over it the next day, hopefully, or a few days from now, or a month from now, or never. One of those things. There's eventually.
I appreciated your mixing of metaphors there. It was very interesting. Your bootstraps and going to bed.
Yeah. What I do every day with my bootstraps.
Your sleeping bootstraps, of course.
Yes. My slipper.
So you can find Louie at Rank and Rate, where guess what he does? He ranks and rates. No, he talks reality TV, especially a lot of Sequester, and some video games, right? Am I making that up?
No, you're right. I started The Last of Us Part 2. It's good. I like it so far. They're just long. It takes forever. I don't have the time, but I'm enjoying it so far.
And mine is like the opposite, because it's Sequester, but it's also poetry. So I don't know why I think that's the opposite, but sure.
Like similar video games and poetry.
Yeah. There's a lot of poetry about video games, to be honest. So.
Actually, that does make sense.
Yeah, it's like artwork kind of thing. But so you can follow me there. It's pretty simple. But even better, you can follow both of us at Sequester Mini. Ding, 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 ding.
Definitely do that.
Don't forget to like and subscribe our streams, and then we will be back so fast that it's ridiculous.
So fast. I'm gonna eat a sandwich, and then I'm just gonna press the button. I'm not gonna stand up. I don't think. I'm just gonna eat the sandwich, and then I'm just gonna press a button, and I'll be back in the same position. So don't fret.
I'm gonna suggest that you pee, but okay. All right. See you in a little bit. I'll see you in a little bit, everyone.